In July 2014, a 18-year-old boy from Iceland set out on a memorable journey to Spain's amusement park named Terra Mítica. What was meant to be a day filled with thrills, laughter, and cherished memories turned into a harrowing tragedy that would leave a dark shadow over the park and its visitors. A roller coaster ride gone horribly wrong left one young life cut tragically short, hundreds of onlookers in shock, and countless questions about the safety of the Terra Mítica. This story delves deeper into the events that unfolded on that fateful day, uncovering the true extent of the devastation, the lives affected, and the aftermath that would change the world of amusement parks forever. Who was the young victim, and what led to the horrifying accident on the Inferno Rollercoaster? Following the tragic incident, what measures were implemented to prevent a similar disaster from occurring in the future? In the summer of 2014, André Freyr Sveinsson, along with his parents and a friend, went on a holiday to Spain. Eager to soak up the Mediterranean sun and make the most of their school break, they couldn't wait to explore the local attractions. One of the highlights of their trip was a visit to a theme park inspired by the ancient civilizations of the Mediterranean, featuring an array of rides and adventures. Among the park's many offerings was the roller coaster known as Inferno, a cutting-edge attraction that boasted adrenaline-fueled excitement and heart-pounding plunges. André and his companions eagerly anticipated the chance to experience the exhilarating roller coaster during their unforgettable Spanish holiday. Finally, the day arrived. It was a picture-perfect summer day, with clear blue skies and a gentle breeze that carried the salty scent of the Mediterranean Sea. André and his friend gathered outside the park gates, their faces flush with excitement as they waited for their turn to enter the world of Terra Mítica. Once inside, they felt as if they had stepped back in time. The park was a stunning tribute to the ancient civilizations that once ruled the Mediterranean, with meticulously designed environments that transported them to Egypt, Greece, Rome, Iberia, and the islands. The friends marveled at the architecture as they made their way through the park, their excitement growing with every step. They spent the morning exploring the different lands, riding the log flume through the Nile, spinning in teacups in Greece, and navigating the high seas on a Roman galley. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, they decided it was time to face the park's crowning jewel, the Inferno Rollercoaster. André's heart raced with anticipation as they approached the towering structure. The coaster's twisted steel tracks loomed above them, casting imposing shadows on the ground below. They could hear the screams of delight from riders as they hurtled through the air, and André couldn't wait for his turn to experience the thrill of the Inferno. As they waited in line, André's friend teased him about his passion for roller coasters, knowing full well that he shared his excitement for the ride. The laughter continued as they inched closer to the front of the line, their spirits high and their anticipation palpable. Finally, it was their turn. André and his friend climbed into the coaster's sleek, modern cars, their hearts pounding in their chest. The harnesses came down, securing them in their seats, and the ride operator gave them a thumbs up, signaling the start of their adventure. The coaster began its ascent, the sound of the chains pulling them higher and higher echoing in their ears. André's friend held the safety bars tightly, their knuckles white from the pressure, as André's face was full of excitement. They reached the top of the first hill, and for a brief moment, the world seemed to stand still as they took in the breathtaking view of the park and the sparkling Mediterranean Sea beyond. Then, in an instant, they plummeted downward, their screams mingling with the wind as the coaster raced through twists and turns, defying gravity and thrilling its passengers. André felt more alive than ever, his heart pounding in his chest as he and his friend experienced the ride of their lives. As the coaster roared through a series of loops, André's excitement soared to an all-time high. He could hardly believe he was finally experiencing the ride he had anticipated for so long. His friend, too, was enjoying the adrenaline rush, his face full of excitement. But then, as they approached the final, most thrilling loop of the Inferno roller coaster, something went terribly wrong. André felt a sudden jolt, and the secure feeling of the harness that had held him safely in place until now began to give way. Panic gripped him as he realized the unthinkable was happening. His harness was failing. His friend, unaware of the tragedy, continued to scream with delight as the coaster raced toward the final loop. But Andri's screams were different. They were cries of terror as he desperately tried to hold on to the failing harness. In the blink of an eye, the unthinkable happened. As the coaster reached the peak of the loop, Andri was thrown from the ride, his body tumbling through the air as his friend watched in horror. The coaster came to an abrupt halt as park employees rushed to the scene of the accident. The once joyful day at Terra Mítica had taken a dark and tragic turn, and the lives of Andri, his parents and friend, would never be the same again. Andri's stepmother recounted the horrifying moments leading up to the accident. "We were waiting in line for the roller coaster when we saw them getting in. An employee secured their harnesses, and the ride began. As we were being seated, we suddenly saw everyone in the queue gasping, screaming, and running away. We caught a glimpse of a shadow and heard a thud. We immediately got out and rushed to see what had happened, only to find Andri lying on his stomach on the ground. I called out to him and he stirred slightly and mumbled," she added. He was on his stomach, moving and mumbling. A Norwegian doctor who happened to be there tried to keep him still, while the theme park employees were running around in confusion, with no emergency procedures being initiated. Unfortunately, Andri never stood a chance. An ambulance arrived at the scene 25 minutes after the accident, but despite their efforts to save him for 45 minutes, his 18-meter fall at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour onto the concrete proved fatal. It was like being fired from a slingshot straight onto the concrete. He never had a chance. The theme park's directors refused to accept any responsibility for the tragic incident, insisting that Andri Freyr was simply too heavy for the Inferno Rollercoaster. Despite the absence of posted guidelines regarding the maximum weight limit of 120 kilos, which Andri Freyr surpassed, they maintained their stance. Andri's father, Svein Sigfusson, however, believed that a malfunction in the metal bar locking system was the true cause of the accident. The metal cage had opened, causing Andri to plummet to the ground. Sigfusson adamantly rejected the park's explanation, stating, "Their claim that he was too heavy is not acceptable." He went on to mention that the theme park employees were questioned a day after the accident, but their testimonies lacked coherence. "I'm not accusing them of lying to keep their jobs, but of course that's what I suspect," he added. Despite the tragedy, the roller coaster resumed operations. Sigfusson noted that the park still had not posted signs indicating a maximum weight limit, only a maximum height restriction. To make matters worse, the amusement park's directors never reached out to the family after the incident, and the parents were never questioned by the police. Sigfusson urged anyone visiting a theme park to inquire about weight restrictions and other safety measures before boarding any ride, advising, "Ask about everything." And so, the story of the unforgettable day at Terra Mítica lives on in the hearts of Andri's friends and family, and in the memories of all who were touched by the tragedy. It is a story of love, friendship, and the pursuit of adventure, and it serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of safety, both in amusement parks and in life.